Good morning and welcome to the Stroke of Genius podcast, Executive Experience. I've got a real special guest for you, a show for you. And plus, I'm just kind of motivated that I'm about to be part of releasing something Phyllis has been working on for years. It's how to discover your authentic age, not be boxed in by number, but actually how to find it. So we only got 13 minutes to get there. So let's get right into this part. Hold on. Welcome to the Stroke of Genius podcast, Executive Experience. I'm your host, Aaron Alva. I am CEO and founder of Stroke TV Media. I created this podcast to give us access to top-level entrepreneurs and executives and global thought leaders. So without further ado, here's your host, Aaron Alva. Well, good morning, Phyllis.
Good morning, Aaron.
You're coming to us live from New York, right? You're in New York.
Yes, actually, it's just about afternoon here. We're 3 hours ahead of you.
Well, it sure is great to have you, and I really feel kind of privileged that I'm going to be able to talk about something that you've been working on for many years. And people are, for the first time, going to get a glimpse how they can determine their authentic age, not boxed in by number, not like in my case, 60, 70 years or whatever, but actually coming to your authentic age of my relevance. So please introduce yourself. Let us know who you are, what you do.
Okay, Aaron, I'm happy to do that. And I'm very excited about this because it is something I've been working on and off. And I think the time is really right for what I've been hearing about people's pain points or the challenges that they have at work. Just to tell you something about my background or who I am. I'm Phyllis Weiss-Hazerow. I'm known as the cross-generational voice. And I provide the knowledge, understanding, and guidance to multi-generational organizations and their professionals within them to recognize and address generational and multicultural perspectives and worldviews that cause conflicts among coworkers or with managers or clients so that valuable talent is retained and the roadblocks are eliminated for both individual and organizational success and stability and profitability, which everybody wants. I bring over 3 decades of perspective as a visionary business development and organizational effectiveness strategist, a consultant, facilitator, mentor, speaker, and author of 4 books, including You Can't Google It. And my special focus, really since 2005, is improving the working relations among the 4 or 5 generations, and there are other differences in the workplace. So as my brand line states, in the business of uniting people, purpose, potential, and profits across the generations at work. Okay, enough said. So what I am excited about and what Aaron was referring to is the concept of authentic age. You know, chronological age is good for what it says on your ID, for getting government entitlements and things like that. But it really does not particularly have a meaning for who you are, what value you bring, to the workplace or the world. I mean, each of us progresses in a different way. Maybe 100 years ago, you would know if you heard a number of somebody's chronological age that you would know how they would dress, what the color of their hair was, what their appearance was, and what you would expect in terms of how flexible they might be, agile, change, their relation to change. But now we have 4 or 5 generations in the workplace. They come from different places. All our populations are so much more diverse. Some have a strong identity to whether it's their race, their gender, all other kinds of differences. And what had been overlooked a lot, as we talked about DEI and B, which I think the B, the belonging, is really what should come first, because you can be included with a seat at the table, but that doesn't mean that you feel like you belong to an organization or a community. So I actually got the spark of this idea when I heard from the Sloan School, what's the name of it? The Sloan Center on Aging and Work. It's in Boston. And they had come up with definitions of 10 different definitions of age. And I thought, wow, this is really interesting. And I didn't do anything about it. And about 3 years later, I came up with an idea for an assessment using their definitions, but I threw out the chronological age one and another one. And, I can disclose later what the other 8 are. But what I think is so important is that people think about what they bring in the value in terms of their experience, their outside interests, how they relate to people, their personal styles, all these kinds of things. And are you outgoing? Are you an introvert? There are just so many things. And people are sometimes their own worst enemy because they take the stereotypes or how they think people think of them as who they are. And when they think about it, they either no, that doesn't feel right, or they think, how do I express what I can really bring? I don't want people to form their opinions before they know me, know what I can do. It's not just a matter of what's on my CV, my resume, what I have been able to achieve. All of that is very important, but there's also the potential that sometimes is really untapped. So that's what this is about and why I think it's important. And with the change that we've been having, change is going faster and faster and faster. I used to say that we have a recession every 10 years to students who are coming out of school having trouble getting a job. So this isn't only for people who are on the older end. This is really the ageism that people feel, or what is thrown at them, is also for the younger generations. I mean, they get really, really angry when people think, well, what experience do you have? Why should I listen to you? Why should you give me a chance? And today, so many things with technology, which is a big change, but also the way people relate, which has changed dramatically since COVID, and they weren't able to be together, and so much of communication is lost when you are not in the same room with people, or they don't see you. At least they can see your body language on a virtual meeting. So with all these changes, there's just so much anxiety, um, in the workplace and in society in general, and about wellness. I mean, nobody talked about things like that before. So that there are many other, besides chronological age, and I'll just mention a few of them. What is your career stage or occupational age? I'll mention them. I'm not going to give you all the definitions, but if you'd like to contact me afterwards, I can give you, I have articles, I have all kinds of information, and I'm really happy to share it because I think this is so important. So there's, life events age. There's your generational age, uh, how long you have been in a particular position, how people think of you relative to other people and their age, and how you think about yourself as your relative age, and how society perceives a person to be, and physical and fitness. Some people who are well into their 80s and beyond are doing things that you could never have imagined decades ago. And they're playing sports and they're still good at it, and they're going to the gym. And so all of those things really bring another dimension to uh, how you should be perceived authentically.
Yeah,
So that,
versus being. I told you this in the green room as they were talking yesterday. I think the age I'm so and so number put you in a box, and what you've done with this questionnaire that is not out to the public yet, but it's coming over next month, will bridge that gap, will then allow companies to look past the age, go to the authentic person and find out their authentic experience and find out what their authentic future may be with the company. So, Phyllis, hats off to you for seeing this kind of insight that I don't know anybody's ever looked into and bridged that gap. So, congratulations.
yeah, well, I've put together an assessment. I didn't have it in a way digitally in 2013 when I first put it into a Word document. But I decided that it was, from what I've been hearing, and as I said, the challenges that people are talking about, I felt, well, this is really the time. So we're working on that and we're pretty close. So it will be accessible. And, look for it. If you're interested in knowing more, we'll give you my contact information. You can contact me either directly at my email address or on LinkedIn. And I'd love to contact you if you want to connect on LinkedIn or any way you want to talk. And I'd be very happy to have a conversation about this, explain more. If you'd like one of my articles, just let me know, and I'd be happy to do that. And I would love to hear your thoughts about this issue and what issues or problems or challenges might have been coming up for you in that respect. But as I said before, it's not only how you are perceived by somebody else, but how you are perceiving yourself. Um, and that is very important. You need that confidence. And the idea with what comes out of the assessment would be to produce a document that you can advocate for yourself, for being retained in a job, being promoted, even thinking about making a pivot in your career, and what the things that you bring, the value you bring, and the whole picture, the whole authentic you, um, will bring to an employer, or so many people are um, not working for one employer, for many contingent workers, all of those things. That's just, we didn't see all of that, certainly a decade ago, and even in the last few years. People changed so much with COVID. And, we never thought of flexibility in this same way. And I have been talking about flexibility at work since the late 90s. It was actually the Gen Xers, not the millennials, or Gen Z, that really started that. 'Cause I did a lot of consulting about that, and speaking about it. And then I decided to kind of turn the umbrella upside down, and that the umbrella should be age and intergenerational rather than flexibility being an issue under the age umbrella. And with all the organizations who would look at diversity as mostly race and gender, and then LGBTQ,
Yeah, whatever.
QAI. I mean, and I've always thought that we are all richer as individuals, getting to know people who are different than we are, even if their vision and values are different, to talk to them. And that's why I say, I'm in the business of uniting all of these things. The divisiveness that we've had, that's been getting worse and worse, and we are feeling it every day, whatever the isms are. Um, it's just terrible. I'm writing right now an article about how can we exist without more trust. So just, but all of this, I wanted to mention it because Aaron was mentioning it before. This is all related to staying relevant at work. Everybody wants to be relevant, whether it's at work or anything like that. And how do we continue that? How do we keep improving and proving our value? And so we have to understand ourselves, and we have to be able to express it. So, although my work, whether it was as a marketing business development consultant for 3 decades, and there's still part of that, was all focused on B2B. And this is focused both on the B2B, business to business, as well as the consumers within them, these organizations. Normally I work through organizations, even the mentoring that I do, but this I want to make accessible also to individuals who are interested.
Yeah, because what you're doing, I can't wait till it's actually made public because when we're building a business culture or a business community within an organization, let's we need to be somewhat real with saying that okay, you get the older or the younger person, whichever one is looking at it. You say the older person look at the younger person, going, "Oh, well, they're young, they can't." They immediately judge them by their age, by their their age. They're 28 years old. Well, they're young. They can't know anything because they're young. Well, the authentic age, if you knew the authentic age of the person you're dealing with, you would know how to communicate with them, how to interact with them, how to you. So I can't wait till you develop this turns public. People within the workplace can look at the authenticity of the person, not the age of the person, but the authenticity of the person. So, trailblazer is what you are for creating such a thing.
Well, thank you. I seem to be one of these people who, um, follows trends. I've always done that. I'm fascinated by demographics, which comes from I have a master's in urban planning. And because I was not, no, so that's my first incarnation, as I said. And I for a little while, and then I felt I was more business oriented than most of the people in the field, and got very interested in marketing and communications. But because I was not an architect or an engineer, I was doing all the people stuff, whether it was education, housing, all of those people related kinds of things. And so I was wondering, and it took me till, almost a few years ago, as recent as that, to think, well, what we do sort of comes around, and the things that we bring from our past experience, whether it's education or your actual work experience, may turn up in a different form, which is what happened with me with getting more passionate about than I've ever been about any of my work before, about all things generational at work. I mean, I never can get enough of it. Reading all these surveys, doing all of that, and I see patterns that other people don't see, or years before other people see them. Um, the downside of that for business, for my personal business, or anybody else who is so good at connecting dots like that, is that you have to spend a lot of time educating people before they know they need it. But I'm willing to do that. I'm just very creative and curious. I say curiosity is my superpower.
Yeah, that really is true. I mean, curiosity. If you're the type of person that's curious, that really is my opinion. The spice of life. If you're a curious person, you're going to be curious about people. But Phyllis, again, the show's going by because is going by so quick. But tell me, who is your ideal client? Who are you looking for to work with out there?
Okay, well, I work with multi-generational firms. I've worked with a lot of professional firms, which is what I did with my marketing and business development, and still do, of course, and tried to transition them over to the generational concerns as well. Um, but a lot of them are mid-level, or the individuals are mid-level, but it really can be of any age because, as I said, I think all of these things, even the mentoring that I do, a lot of mentoring Some of them are college students, other people, and I'm actually starting a business venture around that too. I'm not getting into that, but mentoring is something you hear about all the time now, and there are a lot of problems with the way it's done. But I think that the important thing that we're missing in mentoring is getting perspectives of people of different ages. If you know, what one individual has various formative influences in the way they think and the experience they have, and I'm setting up teams of from the older and the younger end of that to actually mentor together. This does not exist anywhere else. It's another thing that I'm, going to be, I guess, trailblazing. Um, but how we interact with people is really the most important thing. And and I wasn't going to say, but just say something about my book. You can't Google it to explain what that is,
Yeah.
because everyone loves the title. But uh, the subtitle is "The Compelling Case for Cross-Generational Conversation at Work." And what I mean is, and the book is full, because curiosity is one of the essential elements in there. It's 10 what I call essential elements, or straight skills or traits that are necessary for success, that you can't acquire, learn, or practice by going out on the internet. There's, loads of information that we all get out there, and I'm not playing that down. But it's the relationships and the conversations that lead to the relationships that really are what we need, and we need more of it. And a lot of people don't do that very well, or reluctant. And again, the COVID thing, closing down so much of in person, or any interaction that people were having, uh, was quite a detriment. So that's one of the reasons that I think that those kinds of skills, and I don't call them soft skills either, I think I call them, relationship enhancement skills. But we employers are asking for them, and yet so many people, especially the younger people, are wanting digital skills, and you have to have both.
Well, you didn't listen to me. I'm thinking about your work. When we're building companies, building teams, bringing us together authentically is most powerful and most profitable we can be as a business owner. And if we can use your questionnaire and get down to an authentic person, we can build a culture and a community within a company that is the most powerful and most authentic it can be, and that will relate to profitability, in my opinion.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I think so, and I hope so. We got to work at it. It
Mm.
isn't going to just happen. And it isn't just going to happen by getting good at using AI. And
Yeah,
that
AI, I won't get into this. I won't get into AI, but it has its pluses and it has its minuses,
exactly.
and you need to balance it out. But the bottom, and it's crazy. Half an hour I went by the pikes and so forth. But please can you give out a phone number? At least people can contact you and our website. All Phyllis's contacts are in the video description. But is there what website do they can learn about what you do on? What website?
Okay. Well, my website is youcan'tgoogleit.com, and you can also get. I won't complicate that. You
All
can
right.
youcan'tgoogleit.com. Find me on LinkedIn. It's the whole LinkedIn thing slash in PW Hazero, my last name Haserot. It's on the screen. Uh, um, so and my email address, and really it's fine if you want to email me directly, is pwhazero at pdcounsel.com. I think you'll have all of that in the show notes. It's PD Counsel for Practice Development Counsel.com. But use that or find me, as I say, in LinkedIn. Connect with me, and I'd love to hear from you. If you want an article on authentic age, happy to send that to you. And I'd like to hear from your side, as we can interact on a podcast. What you're hearing, what you're feeling about this, the challenges that you have.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna have another podcast together because I want to delve a little deeper into this. And we're just doing a cursory overview, but the bottom line is that if you want to really join your team together, you really want to get the authentic people working together. It's a win-win. I mean, it really is. You need to contact Phyllis so to know, and she'll be happy. You have a free, I would imagine you have a consult to find out if they're a good fit for you.
Yeah, yeah. And we can have a short conversation, and then we'll see where that goes, and I'll tell you the options or how you can learn more.
And again, all Phyllis's contact information is in the video description. So please feel free to look it over. Her emails, her phone number, her everything is there. Websites, all that is in there. And look at it. So Phyllis, yeah, I'm curious. What do you plan for the future? Oh, I lost you. I lost you for a second.
Yeah, what happened? I lost.
You're back. But where do you see where you're going in the future? What do you see happening out there in the business community and kind of where you're going? What do you plan to be and what do you plan to do in the future?
Well, I plan to keep doing what I'm doing with new ideas. That's my problem. I have too many ideas and too many
So
priorities. I
sorry.
confess, and it gets in the way. But yes, I mean, I want to work on all of these elements of uniting people, and for getting them, helping them to express themselves better, understanding other people, and feeling more comfortable and confident in relating to people that are different than they are. So I just think we've got to get over this division. We've
Yeah.
just got to change work cultures and society. But work cultures, whether you are an actual employee or whether you are an advisor to organizations or whatever your relationship is, a vendor, all of these things are important. And with my marketing background for so long, I think very strategically. about how this makes sense and how you can express yourself better.
I agree. I'm amazed. It's funny the the creative brain that you have. I could see, I could feel the giddiness and the excitement of where you're going. And I want everybody out there to realize if you want your team to work at the optimum performance, you want your team to work together cohesively. Contact Phyllis, she'll get your team working together and get you past the stereotypes. And the stereotypes are so common out there. Older person walks in the stereotype. The younger person walks in the stereotype. But this new question of Phyllis is bringing to the table, it really will cut through all the, I say the word, it'll cut through all the stereotypes, get right down to the authenticity of who your team is. Know it's the best way they can work together. Phyllis, I can't thank you enough for being here. I really, I don't want to encourage everybody out there. Look in the description of this video, learn more about us, give her a call, schedule time, contact her, whatever. Phyllis, thank you for being. I appreciate it.
Well, I am thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for your enthusiasm about what I'm doing. I mean, it means a
Well,
lot.
I think, now, Phyllis, honestly, when you told me about the questionnaire, about finding the authenticity and breaking the stereotypes, it's really true. My biggest thing is that I'm not big for boxes, putting people in boxes. I don't. I think a person is who the best. Jeff Hazelwood, global business leader, Jeff Hazelwood, which we're friends with, says you want to be the most powerful person you can be. Learn to be the authentic you. And I think the questionnaire was a step in the right direction. I think it will be. So good luck on that. And again, once it's launched, I hope to have you back on. We can tell people where to go to visit it. But again, thank you again, Phyllis. Appreciate you
No.
being there.
Well, thank you again, too.
All right.
Love to be here.
All right. Thank you.